Hi, we're
Hey,
back.
welcome back. We've missed you guys.
We always miss you, and we always have a lot of fun to talk about. So, before I get started, I'm Princess Roxy,
I'm Miss C.
and we would like to know: have you ever been curious about coloring outside the lines? If so, you have come to the right place. So, put the kids to bed, grab a drink or a snack, and let's chat.
Meet us at the playground after dark. It's a safe place so you can have questions, comments, and make suggestions for what to do for the show. So we want to hear from you, and we're a safe place to talk about anything. So today, we're both super excited to invite someone down to the playground to come play with us. So we have our first guest. So Denalja, come on down. Welcome to the playground, girl.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi. So welcome. Thank you for being brave enough to come to the playground with us.
It's all good, I promise.
It is. So everybody, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
So again, my name is Denalja James. I'm an artist. Basically, I do some spoken word on the erotic side sometimes. I also do a little bit of music here and there, have a band, and I've recently stepped into the realm of burlesque, urban burlesque, to help women to learn more about sexuality and sensuality, especially after 50.
Yes, I love it. I love it. What is something about burlesque that you feel like people may not understand about burlesque?
The main thing that I think that they don't understand is it's empowering. Mm-hmm. It's empowering as a woman to embrace your sensuality and to be able to harness it and utilize it as power. Like, being feminine is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. Being a woman is a beautiful thing. And just understanding that sex isn't bad. Everybody's doing it, but everybody's pretending like they're not.
Yes.
I hate the whole, I'm clutching my pearls. Why? Clutch the bed sheets. Cool.
I like it.
That part.
I love it. So since you're bringing that up, since now you're in the playground, we like to know where you fall on the playground scale. Are you a spicy vanilla like myself? I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I keep it pretty vanilla. Or we over here with, our dungeon princess. We got our little milk maiden / Dommy mommy over here. So where do you see yourself?
I keep hearing in my head the song "I'm Vanilla Baby."
Yeah. Listen.
Based upon you all and the conversations we've had off camera, girl, I'm sweet and innocent still.
So you'll do the choking. You're just not trying to put anybody in the grave for that song.
I like to choke and to be choked.
So spicy vanilla.
I'm still vanilla.
Listen, you were spicy vanilla. We put a little bit of cinnamon on you, not the cayenne. I got the cinnamon and the cayenne, so you got the cinnamon on there, so you get a little bit of hit. You like a little warm,
a little warm, yeah, a little warm. But I'm tiptoeing. It's one of those things where I'm tiptoeing. I've got questions. It's one of those questions. So.
Okay, wait. Nalja, you said something, and I know people are going to ask. You hinted after 50. You look our age. You're trying to say you're older than 50. That's what you're trying to say?
I'm 50. I turned 50 in October.
Nice.
You look good. See, that's when you can tell. Drinking your water, living your best life. Drinking your water and minding your business. That's what that looks like at 50.
Yeah. Well, good on you, girl. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh. Burlesque. What is urban burlesque? What does that mean?
Black people's burlesque.
Oh. Ooh, so what from Moulin Rouge, I guess. That's the only thing I know.
I said it that way because the burlesque community is predominantly white. Mm-hmm. And it is the mainstream burlesque is mainly white women, or dragish, that type of thing. I'm not saying that Black people don't have presence, but it's where I go and I can hear my music.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's where I go and I can identify with my culture. Mm-hmm. I literally went to a show in Vegas and I was so enamored by seeing all of these beautiful women, but I didn't hear any of our music. I didn't see very many women that looked like me. I definitely did not see women my age. Right. And I live in North Carolina, so I came back to North Carolina to create those types of spaces. And it's been fun. It's fun.
Cool.
That's so empowering. I do too, because I've always like
I like that.
I love the idea of burlesque because it's such an art form, but I never really got into it because I never saw me. And that was a big deal to me. I didn't want to be in those types of intimate spaces and can't be. If you're that exposed, I want to have that intimacy that you're going to love what you're going to see. You're going to enjoy what you're going to see. And then I can see that out there. So it's great that you are doing that because it's like, that's some boss stuff. Okay, you out here being super cute. That's like more than regular vanilla.
Huh?
That's definitely more than regular vanilla. Everybody can't do that.
No.
Well, what I've learned is I'm somewhat of an exhibitionist.
Okay.
But I'm definitely a voyeur.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also a safe madam.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be safe with it. I want to run the room. So I'm gonna predict how much I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna push you to do more than what you won't do. I'm weird. But I want to do
just fine. There's no such thing as weird in the playground. It's just varying degrees of kink, and it may not be for everyone, but it's yours. And who am I to judge at this point in my life? Because God knows I've done some stuff. You know. And for the viewers who don't know, a voyeur is someone who likes to watch, and an exhibitionist is someone who likes to show. That's the way I remembered it.
Yep.
Voyeur, very much so. Exhibit, show off. I'm mixed with both two. And actually, for me personally, being a voyeur is new. I was just like, I don't really care. You can do it if you want to. I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch it. But lately, I'm like, that's interesting. I need to know more. Let me take some notes so I can ask questions when you're done. So it's changed a lot for me as I got older.
I enjoy both. I think it's like I like to put on a good show. I think it's because I have a theater background too. It's just like you're performing. But I also like to watch because it's the allure of watching someone and they can feel you watching them and how they react to it. I get a kick of like, all right, what else you can do? Okay,
yeah, like are they performing better because I'm watching? Like,
and I think that's a me thing. I think you're doing better because I'm watching you because I'm telling you like, okay, arch your back a little bit more, put your head up, all right, because you're putting on a show for me. So I want it to be how I want it. And so I get a kick out of that. I think that's like a power play thing of like, yeah, no, you're doing it this good because I'm telling you to do it this good. So
yeah. Okay.
This is good. I like this. You're not too vanilla. You're gonna be okay.
You're a lot less vanilla than you think.
You're gonna find out how
most people are, you know. Most people, if they like actually sit down and think about it, they're probably a lot less vanilla than they think.
Yeah.
I think people are afraid to just own what's theirs because social norms of this is what's normal, this is what's not is normal, or not wanting to be seen a certain kind of way. If people really just like sat with themselves like, yo, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed that and had a conversation and kind of take the out of the conversation, I think it'll go better. So bringing that up, that's what we're going to do right now. So all right. So we both have a list of questions. We started this like a week ago. Last episode we did, and we started going through different questions, and we were going with each other answering questions, and we learned a lot about each other. So now we get a chance to learn a lot about you as well. So this one right here is since we're talking about fetishes, do you have any fetishes?
Choking is definitely a fetish of mine. I truly enjoy, I think we talked about it before, I truly enjoy hand around neck. I definitely do.
So before you get too far into it, previously we talked about what's the difference between a fetish and a kink. So a lot of people might not know the difference. And just to bring it up again, since you brought it up, a fetish is something that you have to have in order to feel sexually gratified. A kink is just something you might enjoy doing, but you can still finish with or without it, basically. So choking? Interesting.
I like it. I like it.
We actually, that was one of the things we talked about. It's same. It just doesn't, if you're just being nice and all like, oh, sweet, like, it doesn't do it for me. I need you to be a little more aggressive.
I need something a little aggressive. And it's like, there's an art to choking. And people don't understand that. Like, it's not like you're going, I'm trying to kill you. Yeah. It's really, you're taking your hands and you're putting it under here. And it's like a safety grip. Right. And then you're just putting just enough pressure that makes me like catch my breath and go, and it's like, it's in my head, like, oh, for real? We're playing this game? Let's go. It's like revving up the engine for me. So I was like, it's like, oh, all right. So very nice.
And I don't even remember how I found that out, but now it's like if you don't do it, I have to teach you that to do it because I need that to happen. And I think I like being on the edge. I like that moment. Like, take my breath away for a second.
Just for a second. Not indefinitely.
Yeah.
It's not indefinitely. Don't go crazy.
Right. I just want you to stick your toe in. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. But I want to breathe now.
And but yeah. So I haven't done a lot of things. But here's what's crazy. I'm learning that as my birthday was in October and I did a party. My party was the 50 Shades of Me because it was one of those things where I'm like, listen, I'm going to be unapologetically me. I've never, I come from, my mom was deeply religious. I come from that religious background, and you can't, as a woman, embrace these, and this means that you're this, and this means that you're that. Well, I've been called sexy all of my life. I think going back to being about 11, 12 years old, it was the first time I was identified as sexy by someone. And I was like, wait a minute, I've done enough.
How
am I sexy? And even now, I used to be offended by the comment, oh, you're sexy. I know I want to be beautiful. I don't want to be sexy. I want to be beautiful. That's better. But now I recognize that shit, I am fucking sexy. So it's like, if that's what I emit, I need to own it. And one of the things that I'm uncovering through burlesque and understanding my own sensuality and sexuality is I own it. And so I'm explorative, but I'm finding that men aren't as open.
Yes.
We're not open, and it's like, we can't do that. I don't want to do that.
Well, that's because you're looking in the wrong places.
There you go.
Because on FetLife, they are very open.
So I'm still okay. So when it comes down to FetLife, I'm still like,
I don't know what's going on. I need an adult.
I'm still behind the veil. Like,
the best thing I would tell you is find a group, just a group in your area that's into something that might interest you. You don't have to go, just join the group and read the discussions. Then you can see if maybe you might be brave enough to physically go to a group. But honestly, just having the discussions online to read helps. It really does.
I joined a group and it was so much happening, and I was like, what?
Also depends what kind of group you're joining.
There was a Titty Tuesday and a hump.
Oh, they dropped pictures. Yeah. They dropped pics.
I got overwhelmed. It was so I do have ADHD, so I was overly stimulated on all this. I was like, wait a minute.
There's too much happening.
But
pick a topic.
I'm still learning. I'm still delving and learning and quietly learning because yeah.
Okay. So
Nothing
since
wrong with
we're
that.
talking about people who are less open with things, what is something that you've wanted to try, but you are afraid your partner might not be into? Or if you don't have a partner, any person that you're normally sexually attracted to would not be into.
I like to I would like to be tied up and to tie someone up. Rope play. But the reason why is because
that's beautiful.
Once again, urban burlesque, right? I did a burlesque some years ago, and I had a kink coach at one point in time because I was motioning towards learning to be a dominatrix. That's what I wanted because I want control. That's one of the things that I'm totally fascinated with is control. And my kink coach openly tied me up, blindfolded me in front of an audience. That's why I told you I'm such a freaking exhibitionist that it don't make sense. In front of an audience, and then I had a live band, and I actually sang Janet Jackson's Rope Burn at the same time.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome,
baby. And oh, was it not? The level of pleasure. Wow. It was just wonderful. And I have never forgotten that feeling. So I have wanted to do that, not necessarily with the whole band and all of this, but I want to be tied up and I want to tie someone up. The ropes. Yeah, the ropes were wonderful.
So the rope play you're talking about, the official name is shibari.
Yes.
You would be surprised, even though you want to have the control and all of that, being into rope is not about dominance and submission. So there are people who, for lack of a better term, I call them alpha females. They're just very much go in their normal days and they don't submit to anyone. But they are what's called a rope bottom, which means they willingly will submit for some person to tie them up. Because all those feelings you described, that's what they get. It's like a euphoria. They fall into like a subspace type thing, and then they just embrace being in rope. And then on the flip side, the rope tops, or sometimes they're called riggers if they like hoist you, which is beautiful. Like Cirque du Soleil has nothing on a rigger who knows what they're doing, okay? Because it's gorgeous. But those people, like, yes, I'm going to a play party next weekend, and the guy has his house set up to hang someone from the ceiling. So the first time I went there, this guy who's like really big in the rope community hung his wife from the ceiling, and I was sitting there like the whole time, just like, this is fascinating. Oh, my eyes were so big, I didn't move from my spot, and I have ADHD. I'm always going. I was just like, my eyes were so big. It was really interesting. So yeah, I can't even imagine the feelings you got, but I bet you that was amazing.
Listen, I remember standing there and I have a microphone in my hand. I'm blindfolded. I'm being tied. I thank God that I made everyone leave their cell phones. You could not have cell phones, so you could not record. But I swear to God that there was a whole moan that was from my soul. On stage.
I believe it. I believe it.
And I want.
Yeah, I believe that.
You might need to change your FetLife to be like, hey, I need this.
I mean, yeah, you can put rope bottom, and then there's actually things on there which is like curious about rope, curious about rope play, curious about rope bottom. Like,
okay,
someone will find your people.
And there are black rope tops out there, so it's not predominantly a non-melanated field.
Yeah, and I'm so. It was such a pleasurable moment. If it's a safe person, you can hoist me and I'm good.
Ooh, I actually came across this profile of a black man, and he looked like the guy from The Princess and the Frog, the voodoo priest. He had like,
Oh,
yes, he had like the whole get up set up, right? And I was like, wow, this is fascinating. I'm already like, because the whole artistry of setting up to look like that every day,
right.
like more power to you. But he was a rope top, and he had this photo where he had tied this lady, so her legs were like chicken wing legs, right? And then he tied her on the pole, like the support beam of his house. She's just like in the middle of the living room, like a statue. And I'm like, this is fascinating. I'm gonna send it to you after the show. It was a lot, but it was gorgeous. So now I follow him because I need to see more. But yeah, it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. I love it for y'all. That is one of my scariest things. The idea of being tied. I have been tied up, and I did enjoy it the one time, but I've also been tied up and have a complete meltdown. So for me, yeah, oh yeah, it triggers something in me that is very yeah. It brings me to a fight or flight place, and I don't care for it. I've only enjoyed that with like my current partner. I'm good with things like that, but for the most part, it was one time, 2020 was a wild time. I met somebody, he's like, yo, I want to tie you up with rope. And I was like, and so, and what also was scared because it's like, is you a white dude? You want to what? Oh, hell no. I was like, listen, I had to like look at him. I was like, I don't think I'm very melanated. I don't know what I don't know. And he sat through it and he talked to me about it and everything else. I was like, no. You got rope, not like the pretty silk rope. You got them like noose rope. That's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary as shit. He's like, just okay. So we're like 15 drinks in. Yeah. I was just like,
don't do it after alcohol.
It was just the alcohol. I was like, okay, let me see what this is. And I was like, super, super calm, very thing. And I was like, oh my God. I felt so. I called you. I was like, yo, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, a proper rope top will be able to talk to you and know what you can and cannot do and what will or will not trigger you. Because being in, like, let's say a body harness, that might be okay. Yeah. And that would still give you all the same pleasurable feelings without being restrained or, suspended. Suspension's not for everybody. I actually was reading a post from another lady who she's a dom. Like she's a pro dom and like a lifestyle dom. She has a whole ranch. And she was playing with a rope top who's experienced, but when they were negotiating the scene, she didn't say to them, I have an injury. That means I cannot be hoisted off the ground by like one leg. And he didn't know, and they didn't discuss it. And so he did it, and she panicked. And when you panic, your body goes into fight or flight. So she's like spinning in the air now because she's panicking. Like that could have all been avoided by having the discussion at the beginning, which she acknowledged. She's like, even though I have all these years of experience, I still made a mistake. So don't think like you can't ever make a mistake. It happens. Just try to be as clear as possible.
And I will say that while I was being tied, she talked to me about everything, so it was very safe. It was, and it was gentle how she went about it. It was because that was my first time as well. And it was like, okay, right now I'm about to do this. Well, I'm going to pull your rope now. Is this too much pressure? Do you need me to? So it created that safe space. And mind you, I forgot that there was a whole freaking audience out there because I was just like,
I've heard such great things about it, and I love to watch it. I think it is absolutely beautiful. I love it. Photographs of it, all of that. It's just for me, it just depends on what it is and how it is. I can say when I've been talked through it, I do find it pleasurable. There's certain pieces of it I'm like, ooh, I like this. It's like, ride like sled riding. It's great. It's a great thing. But I think, it just kind of depends on who you're dealing with while doing it. Like doing it with a professional and doing it with safe spaces, all good things.
So Courtney, question is for you. What's something you've been interested in trying that you think your partner might not be okay? I forgot.
Hate you. Ooh.
No pressure.
Is there a plead the fifth option? I like
no, it's truth or dare.
So to be fair, there's a lot that my partner and I have experienced together that is in our comfort zones. So he's really open to a lot of things. What are some things he would never be open to is like he would never do anything dealing with another male in the space. You can't watch, you can't participate. There's none of that. That will never, ever, ever, ever happen. So even if I was interested, people like, hey, because I love when we first got together, we said, what are things that are absolutely hard no's? What are things that we're kind of like, I don't know, but I'm willing to try. And then there are things that are like, okay, let's go. And I can say with him, a lot of things are okay, let's go. Like, okay, I enjoy, again, we're talking about being out there and doing that. I know that if I wanted to go to a play party and then go in front of everyone, he would not necessarily be that comfortable with that. That's not something. And reason being is this, he's like, one, I don't like to be around a lot of those settings are a lot of white people, and that makes him very uncomfortable. And he does not want to have himself or me fetishized. He doesn't want someone to touch me or interact with me like that, or him to be touched. So that's because we've talked about it. He's like, I'm just not okay with that. He's like, you know, in his younger years, it was something different, but he's like, now it's like, yeah, you're my person. There's things that I'm cool with, but that's not one of them. But I'm like, but isn't it fun? But there's people and there's things. He's like, no. He's like, I think about it like this, as being a Black man, I don't want to be put in situations that something could escalate. And he's saying that's how I look at it. That feels like a situation that is not safe for us and that could escalate in a bad way. And I don't want to go to jail or not be able to go home with you. And
he's not wrong. He's
not wrong. And so I completely respect that theory of it. And he's like, that's really what it's based on. It doesn't seem safe to me and a safe space for us to be in. And we have a family, and he's like, I love you. We need to go home at the end of the day. So
what if it was a private party with a bunch of Black people? Would that change the outcome?
I still ask. You know, it's worth the question. I can see him looking like,
I mean, I can make it happen.
No, we're good over here.
I know some people.
I'm sure I know you know some people. If anything dealing with anyone else male, I know that's a big part of it.
Girls is fine. I started a whole group called the Princess Society just to find other women who need to remember that we are princesses and deserve to be pampered. So I can make it happen.
I love it. So having a friend like this isn't like a double-edged sword. So when you're like, oh, then it's like, oh, really? It's just a phone call. Just let me know. No.
You see me like scratching my head like,
listen, this is a conversation, not this one. She's like, listen, whenever. What's your schedule like? You know, this is...
I'm a firm believer that anything you ask of the universe will provide. So be careful what you ask for. So if you want it to happen, just know it will happen.
Not asking, just talking. So what about we? So we don't clutch our pearls here. We leave it busted open. I know that, you know, there's some things that are coming. I think actually it's better for us to take a break. Let's take a break because I'm going to ask you what your fetishes are, and I feel like we need a break. Before we get into that,
need to know them and then take a break.
No, because I know, no. So you know how ours was like 1, 2. This will be.
Oh, she got a list.
It's one. No, it's one. My answer to that question is one response. But let's go ahead and do our Blast Artist Spotlight, and we'll listen to some tunes and get back.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. The Blast Artist Spotlight today is Miss Angie Monroe, and she's doing the cover song of Young Hearts Run Free. Let's check it out.
What's the sense in sharing this one and only life? Ending up just another lost and lonely wife. You count up the years and they will be filled with tears. Love only breaks up to start over again. You'll get the babies, but you won't have your man while he is busy loving every woman that he can. Say I'm gonna leave 100 times a day.
Indeed, and that is Angie Monroe with Young Hearts Run Free. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or an even up and coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also needing the fans. So if you go to blastmusic247.com, you can also register as a fan and have access to hundreds and hundreds of independent music. Blast is constantly changing the industry one artist at a time. And also, we are also sponsored by the lovefetish.shop, where you can get your special toys. And being a part of the family, if you type in pad 15, you get 15% off on your entire order. So get your love on, hit the lovefetish.shop, and hey, let them young hearts run free. So there it is. Love y'all. And bye.
Oh, well, all right.
That was great.
So the question was, what is something you wanted to try that you're afraid your partner might not be into?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I asked my partner about this actually because I feel like life is too short to limit myself. So I'll ask you, and what worst can happen is you just say no. And for me, it was Stag Vixen, the Stag Vixen lifestyle, which, of course, you would say, what is a stag and what is a vixen?
Yes.
Well, a stag is a man who is content, who enjoys and even encourages his partner, the vixen, to sleep with other men. They're not cuckolds because they also sleep with their partner, but they like their partner to sleep with other people. I was introduced to that lifestyle by a guy who just wanted to talk. I didn't know like anything about him. He was Jamaican too, and we had a lot in common. And I was like, oh, okay, he's an architect. I was like, oh, we're like already looking better and better. And then he's like, yeah, I want you to sleep with my best friend regularly. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's like, so our first date, like, I'm gonna bring my best friend with me so that you guys can be introduced and get comfortable with each other. Now, we ended up not going on a date, the whole other reason why, but that kind of like sparked in my mind, like, would I be down for that? Because for me, I feel it should be like equal opportunity. So I would like you to sleep with other people if you want to, but my partner didn't want to. So are you okay with that? And he's like, yeah, I met you being open and free the way you are, and I'm not going to change that. So sometimes just asking is worth figuring it out. Pretty sure she just finished all that water.
Yeah, there ain't nothing left in there. I was watching the sushi. Thing was gone. Gone.
It's a lot left.
I salute you. I salute you.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot to wrap your mind around.
It's actually not a lot. I have questions.
Okay.
What is the opposite called?
There isn't an opposite, as far as I know. Now, in the term of things, I have seen some guys just use bull, but a bull is really just, it's usually anyway a single male, but it can be like a married person who sleeps with another person's wife. But bulls kind of have a crossover because you can be stag vixen and have a bull partner that you sleep with regularly, or you could be in a completely 100% cuckold relationship where like your husband does not sleep with you and you sleep with other people, and then you have a bull who sleeps with you, and your husband usually encourages and or finds the bull for you. So I don't know if there's an opposite though that I've seen anyway. Yeah. I looked, trust me, because I'm like, because I know of a lady who's like, I don't want to sleep with other people, but I'm okay with my husband sleeping with other people because it's just physical. Now if he got into a relationship with someone and had like an emotional attachment, then I would not be okay with it. So, yeah, makes sense.
There's something out there for everybody, and yeah, there's something there for everybody.
But just ask. I mean, like I said, the worst they're going to say is no. And then if it opens the door for more conversation, then maybe you'll find something you can both mutually agree on. So maybe they don't want you to be 15 people deep, but they'd be okay with their best friend. I say that because last week I was supposed to go to a gangbang, and it was a white lady and her husband, and I was like, oh, I've never seen like anything like that in real life. You see it in like on porn movies and all that. So I went, and the husband was like fully dressed. He was not playing. He was just standing there. I think at some point he was filming too, because she has the OnlyFans, I think. But like the wife was just there, and there's a line, like a large crowd around her of people, and I'm just like, oh, that's the thing you could do. Because he didn't play at all. He was just there as like protection. I don't know if they're stag vixen. I kind of assume they are, just because they seem like, so cuck usually has a little bit of humiliation aspect behind it, whereas a stag vixen doesn't. It's a mutually agreed upon thing, and it seemed more like a stag vixen situation because he was still very much in charge. So.
Wow.
Well, I was like, that's interesting. I like seeing other people's dynamics and how they purport themselves, but at the same time, I was just like, I would not personally do what she did, but I liked that experience that I wouldn't have gotten to experience any other time. So,
okay,
yeah,
that is. I'm there for whoever is doing whatever works for them. That's a lot for me. For me, I don't want that much. That's a lot of traffic. That's a lot for me, and I think it's just I think about it's just like your dynamics of your relationship and what works. I know for us that would never work on both sides of the coin. We're not them people. Also about like sharing in that kind of capacity is just That's a lot.
I'd have for me personally, I'd have more of I have questions, I need papers, and we're still using protection, and it has to be recent papers. Like there's levels to this. You could do it, but for me, it's all about like being safe, and I just don't really feel like a bunch of strangers like that without protection, because that was her thing. She didn't use protection. Like that was too much for me.
Yeah,
but if that's your dynamic and you're fine, I mean, that's your dynamic and you're fine.
I feel like the nurse in me is like, nah, I'm cool, because that's that's a lot, because I just think about safety, and that's not safe.
pH
and that's,
balance.
Right, I just like, you got a hot ting. That's a lot, and I'm not okay with that.
Your pH balance.
Right, I'm just completely for that. It's just like, that's a lot, and I don't need to have hot to trot like that.
I'm sorry. I just think that you ain't got no snapback left.
Listen,
oh no, that's not true.
She can
do Kegels are fine.
Yeah, like you can do so. Listen, your Kegel games are good. Like people really, they work out for this.
Oh, you know what I found out? People lift weights with their muscles.
The hoo-has.
I was so shocked. I spent probably 3 hours going through this lady's page where she talked about her journey from not being able to do anything to being able to lift weights so strongly that her partner asked her to stop because sex with her was painful when she would orgasm because her Kegels was squeezed so tightly. I was like, this is fascinating. Like 3 hours. Like, I don't know where the time went. When I finally put the mouse down, I sat back, and you feel like you were in a rabbit hole and you're so dazed. You're like, where did my whole life went?
Where did the time go? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that was intense. But she said she did it because it made her feel good. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that. Having a strong pelvic wall would make you feel good because your core is well supported. But like this lady was like lifting. You ever see the little memes where it's like a lady's lifting a cinder block? Like that's probably her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even.
Sounds painful.
Right. That doesn't sound.
And here's the thing: I looked it up, and you're not supposed to lift that heavy. It's like 3 grams at most. At most. And they have weights. You can. It sounds bad, but you can find them on Amazon because again, rabbit hole. But there are different weights and different sizes, and they start out small, and then they don't go any more than 3 grams. So for you to be doing dumbbells and cinder blocks, you've gone well past where they recommend. But she said for her, sex felt better because her pelvic floor was strong. Okay. She didn't have any
But your
incontinence
partner
issues,
couldn't
obviously.
possibly be
Oh no, her partner was like, please stop.
enjoying that.
Well, he did until she orgasmed. And then he's like, that it was painful because her Kegels squeezed so strongly involuntarily from her orgasm. So I was like, oh, I get that. That makes sense.
I'm sorry. I feel like my breasts are just the center of attention right now.
Listen, I'm rarely this covered up. It's just that the shirt is an awkwardly low shirt, and I'm slouching today because I had leg day today, and I'm not about that life. My butt cheeks hurt. Leg day was intense. Like, I cried internally. I'm not gonna cry at the gym. I'm not a punk, but like, there were some moments of struggling where I was just like, I can't do this. This really sucks.
I have pretty strong, like I have very strong butt muscles and things like that. I can lift a lot, but that right there, I'm good. But
I finally completed the whole stack, so 200.
Yay!
But I was crying. I was like, oh, why did I I sat there, I was like, why did I do this to myself? I had a whole moment and come to Jesus talk with myself. I was like, I love it. Burning.
So those
powder, are you gonna work on those Kegel muscles too while you're working out?
Actually I do, because one of the things with heavy weightlifting is that you can cause incontinence. Your pelvic floor gets weak. So I do my Kegels. Yep. Because I have a reputation to uphold. So that part. To say.
Oh, I love it. She said the snatch has to be snatched. I
have a reputation, so I can't have somebody say, oh well, it wasn't. No. What I look like? No. No. Never had any complaints, and we're gonna keep it that way. So
I love it.
I do the Kegels. They have a Kegel video game. Did you see it for your phone? You haven't seen? Oh my gosh, you guys, where have you been? It's like all everything. It's like a little device.
I'm vanilla.
It's on the vanilla sites. It's on like Apple Play Store. You put it inside, right? And then you have like a little person.
I feel like I need to jump.
So wait, run that all the way back. You put it inside. Where?
It's a little device that you put inside where your Kegel muscles would be, and you squeeze your Kegel muscles, and it's a remote control, and it makes your little character jump over things. So it's kind of like Mario, but like with Kegels.
Mm-hmm. So my vagina.
your Kegel muscles, yeah, they're inside your vagina, so that's where it would go. Yep.
You know the name of this game?
I don't remember it, but there's some of those on Amazon too, so I don't remember the exact name of it.
I need to know.
It used to be advertised a lot on it was like some health thing, like Baby Talk, one of those like dedicated for his mom type of thing. It used to be on there all the time in the sidebar. It was like, and actually Facebook used to post that as a targeted ad towards me, and I'm like, I'm feeling attacked right now. I don't know why you sent me this after I had a baby.
You don't know why?
I had a C-section. Don't come for me. But I have learned this fun fact, y'all. Just because you had a C-section does not mean your pelvic floor does not suffer. You still have to move through it.
That's true. You definitely have to work your muscles. And so one of the things they teach you about doing your Kegel muscle is when you're peeing, it says stop midstream, hold it, go, stop midstream. So those are ways you can work on your Kegel muscles.
Well, there's some say don't stop midstream because then you might retain urine and cause death. You can just pretend like when you're not peeing that you're forcing down and holding.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So when you have to pee and you bear down, right?
Yeah.
So the bearing down is the releasing of your Kegels, and then the oh my god, I want to pee on myself, and the tight pulling in, that's the holding of your Kegels, right? It's like lifting a weight. So let's say you're watching TV and a commercial comes on. So that's when you're going to start your Kegels. So pull in 5 seconds, release 5 seconds. Pull in 5 seconds, release 5 seconds. But she was saying you could do it while you're peeing, which that's true. But then I was hearing some like conflicting results that you shouldn't do it while you're peeing because you could cause urinary retention and then end up with the UTI. So it's like, I don't know.
I think it depends on how much, like how long are you holding it for and how long, make sure you're bearing down all of it. Like when I have to pee, I have nurse bladder. So automatically it's whoosh, and then go because we got to run back and do whatever else I got to do.
Okay, y'all. It's called the PeriFit pelvic floor exercise with an app. and it's a Kegel trainer. It's $159 on Amazon. But
I'm 50, so I probably need it.
mm-hmm. Yep.
I might be
honestly,
a good investment.
Benefit from them, especially if you've had children, large children. I didn't have large kids, but if you had large children or if you weightlift a lot. So my friend used to weightlift, and she was a heavy set girl. Because also, the other thing is, if you're heavy set, it puts a lot of pressure on your pelvic floor. That's the other thing. So she was weightlifting for health. She was heavy set, but she wasn't doing Kegels. And she doesn't weightlift anymore, but from that time till now, she ended up with a partial uterine prolapse because her pelvic floor was at that point. So now she has to do surgery and all that to get it. But that's what they said it was from weightlifting. So it is a thing. Do your Kegels. And I mean, honestly, you could be doing them at any point in time. If you're in a meeting and it's taking forever and you want to be distracted, do your Kegels. Yeah.
I mean, because you're talking about it, it's like Kegels.
You can't go to sleep.
Yeah. I'm doing them now.
Give yourself a million Kegels. Yeah, distract
yourself.
Get
it strong. Get the snatch. Nothing wrong with that.
No complaints. And do your stretches. Do some light yoga. Stretch your legs out. Stretch your joints out because tight hamstrings can pull on the hip muscles.
Yeah, I got a hip problem.
Pain. Mm-hmm.
And
go to the chiropractor.
Yes, I was going to say go to the chiropractor. I go all the time.
Yeah, I have to go. Actually, I skipped on Monday and I felt it today. You hear me?
Oh, I went on Wednesday. It was great. I went on Valentine's Day. He's like, you came to see me. I said, I sure did. Snap, crackle, and pop. Come and get it together.
Speaking of chiropractors coming to see your chiropractor, so I have to tell you all this thing that happened to me. It's embarrassing, but because I believe in telling the truth all the time, even if it's embarrassing, and it was hilarious. Okay. So sometimes I try to make a point of thinking before I speak, but sometimes I don't because I'm just other things are happening, right? So I have an Apple Watch and it tracks my heart rate, right? So I went to the chiropractor one day and he's doing the adjustments or whatever, and he says, "Okay, lay on your back and I'm going to adjust your neck." So I did. Well, at some point in the rolling over, whatever, I hit the heart monitor, so it popped up and it was tracking my heart rate. So I'm sitting here. And my hand, to the side, and then I feel someone reach over and go, and then chuckle. I open my eyes and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, nothing. It just your heart rate monitor was open." And I was like, "Okay." So after he's done with the adjustment, I get up and he goes, "So when you lay down, your heart rate was down to 80." And I was like, "Oh, she's really relaxed." He says, "But when I touched your neck, your heart rate shot up. So like 130. I was like, "That's because you touched my sweet spot, doctor." And I was like, "Oh, why did I say that?"
I can't with you.
I can never come here again.
Yeah, it's like never. What days do you not work?
And I go every Monday. So he's like, "See you next Monday." And I'm like, "Oh God."
Yeah.
Touch it again on purpose.
Yep. Now he know that where the sweet spot is.
The next time I went there, I was like, "Don't touch my watch."
What'd be funny is if you find him in a playroom.
Yeah.
I should. I feel like he would do it. I feel like he would do it. He could get it. I'm just saying. I'm sure he's probably like in a very stable relationship, but low-key have a thing for doctors. I'm a nurse. Come on. We all have a thing for doctors. It's a thing. That's why we became nurses, honestly. It's not because we really want to help people. We have a thing for people in uniform.
That is awful. That is so awful.
They'd be like, "Yeah, a man in uniform. Firefighters, police officers, EMTs, doesn't care. Doctors in a lab coat."
I'm sorry, but police officers are stranger danger to me. So
Understandable.
Based upon the history of things.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah. I get it. We celebrate the month. It was like, no cops here. No cops here.
Stranger danger, no.
I always feel conflicted when I find a cop attractive. Like,
I feel like you're your wife. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's a stereotype in my head. Ooh, cop, wife beater. No.
Or like, I'm black. Why am I with you?
Wife beater. Black beater.
Because are you going to end up in a scandal someday, and I'm going to have to explain why I picked you?
Oh my God!
Are you in a scandal right now and I don't know, and now I have to explain why I picked you? Like, And that's not to say that all cops are bad. I don't.
I don't think all cops are bad, but
no,
I think
don't.
All press.
I've
for
met a
cops
lot
are
of really
bad.
good cops, but it's just we don't hear about the good ones.
So it's interesting.
All of the Lifetime movies include a cop that killed people and buried them.
Or the cop that didn't believe the victim, right? Come on.
Right.
That part. All those things.
You're exaggerating.
Oh my God. I've been in both states. I am the daughter of a cop. And so and my mom's a cop. But my mother's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, your mom can't be a wife beater.
She could.
Yeah.
There are plenty of women out there who beat people. I knew a lady who beat her husband on the regular. So
oh my God. So my mom, the type of cop she worked with kids. So she worked like DARE program and taught them drugs.
That's different.
So she was one of those cuddly cops.
That's one of the soft cops, the
but she did it on purpose because when she went out there, she was like, oh no, I can't do this. This stuff y'all are doing, that's not me. I'm too cute. Yeah. My mom was back in the day when like in the 90s, like they had the cute cop. So my mom was the cop on top of the car that was laid out like because she was 20 something. Yeah. And so she was in all the parades because she was the cute cop and would like slide across on her hips with her braids. So she was like, a cop, but she was like the cute. So she would do in the summertime, she would work the boats. So she would like want to bounce on the boats to show the boys how to really do it. So yeah, my mom was that. She was that cop. So she's now a prosecuting attorney for the state division. She's a whole.
Yeah, I did not. Like I've met your mom as an adult, and I did not see that ever being a thing that she did. But
listen, I will find the old pictures and show you.
Oh, I believe it. People who are like her now, they had a past.
Because she's so straight and narrow.
Like,
what? It's so crazy. But yeah, when I tell people like she's an ex-cop, like her grandchild didn't believe it. It's like my grandma wasn't a cop. I'm like, yes, she was. She's like, nah. I said, okay. And I come over here and come talk to your child. Say, yeah, grandma took people to jail all the time. He's like, oh, not my grandma. She's like, no, I really didn't do that. I taught the little kids like you.
Crisis.
It's like,
was it just me, or did the DARE cops actually promote drugs more than they kept you off them?
Listen, I think it worked for me. I was scared shitless of everything. I was like, only things that like plant-based things didn't scare me as much, but from a different derivative. But like crack cocaine, coke, anything. I didn't want to do any of that shit because she would show this and the stuff would be in the house and you'd be like, see. I'm like, I don't need all of these problems.
Well, my thing is they were always like, weed is gateway drug. Once you start weed, next thing you know, you're tricking on the corner because you got heroin like addiction. And it's like, that's
yeah.
And that's like, that's bullshit. That's not true.
But most of those kids who signed the little pledge and had the little DARE shirt, they're all smoking weed as adults right now.
Oh yeah,
and they're not tricking on the corner for heroin. So
there's only the very few who are tricking on the corner for heroin, and
if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and weed's not the reason why it happens.
I think the ones that were gonna do the heroin were just
gonna
do it anyway.
Yeah,
they didn't.
That was just preordained. That's what was gonna happen in your life.
You're gonna be a drug addict. You're gonna be a drug.
And you know what they didn't tell us about? The non-traditional drugs that people get addicted to, gambling and video games, social media. Well, social media wasn't really a thing back then yet, but it was getting there. We had chat rooms back then. Remember, like Yahoo groups and stuff. Yeah, but now, or shopping. They're talking about those kind of things and how honestly, like they're all detrimental. Having addiction to anything can be detrimental to your life, but like a shopping addiction could also put you on the corner the same way that the drug addiction could.
Absolutely. It's crazy. But this has been so much fun.
It has been fun.
I'm so glad.
I told you it wasn't as bad as I was making it sound.
See, it was a good time. You were a great sport, and I'm so glad you were able to hang out with us and do all the things.
I loved your input, especially I liked. Because when she said urban burlesque, I was like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't even know what that means. Burlesque, like, isn't burlesque you just take your clothes off or you just dance? And she's like, no, you don't take your clothes off. Oh, okay, I have no idea. I have no idea. So I was like, you figure it out for me. We'll circle back around.
You brought a lot to it. Would you? So after coming to the playground with this, would you come back?
I definitely would.
Yeah,
I definitely would. And I'm comfortable. You guys were very safe, very comfortable. Now, I will admit, if I had pros, I probably would have clutched him.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that was the fun. That was the part. Yeah,
absolutely.
However, I've had a great time, and I feel like I've got I'm about to go find that Kegel thing. 'Cause
Mm.
I'm just interested.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm 50, so I want to make sure everything stays good down there.
They also have, they're called like little balls or like weighted balls. So
I've seen the
you can
Kegel
use those
balls.
too.
Mhm.
Those are good
But
too.
I'm just, yeah. Mm-mm.
Start next time.
Start small.
Work your way
They're
up.
small. They're small.
Yeah, you can get smaller ones and
they have like, so back in the day they just came like in a little container and it was just the balls. Now they have like a silicone thing, like medical grade silicone with like a string, so you're not going to lose them. You know, it's not a fear. Yeah. Just saying, it happened somewhere. As why they make it.
On that note, thank you, and we hope you guys enjoyed the playground. And until next time.
Yay.
Oh my god.
It just made me think about the anal beads. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
don't forget, guys, we have a Reddit. So if you have questions you want to ask anonymously, go to r/playground after dark and send us a note. Or if you don't really want to do Playground After Dark, you can find the Princess Roxy on Reddit, and I'll talk to you there. So pick one, but talk to us.
Yes, we want to hear your input. We want to talk to you guys because we build this show off of you guys. We talk about the things we like, but we want to know what you like.
We want to know what you like or are curious about. So until next time.
See you guys later. Thanks for hanging.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.